Well, if you are a fan of old-time hockey in La Belle Province or just hockey in general, this was the banger and the game for you. It's an entire game of highlights. It's an incredible start to finish, just demonstration of what hockey is at its highest of highs, its lowest of lows, and everything in between. It had a ton of goals. It had a bench-clearing brawl. It had injuries. It has storylines. It is an underdog winning at home. Let's get into the Montreal Canadiens, Washington Capitals, Game 3 from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. There are so many storylines in this game, but I think the first and the biggest one for me is the unbelievable presence of Josh Anderson and Wi-Fi, the man they call Xhekaj. Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's Xhekaj, the man they call Wi-Fi. Did they have an impact on this game? The physicality and the forechecking that they brought really turned it around for Montreal. The home ice advantage turned it around for Montreal. And I told you they would take game 3. When teams go home and they get that energy and they get that rest, series tend to turn around. So now we have the Blues up a game. Well, not up a game, but winning a game. We have Montreal winning a game. Things are coming together for teams that go home. And Montreal channeled that energy into everything you'd want to see. Their first line was on fire. Slafkovsky was an absolute unit today. Just a fantastic hockey player. Nick Suzuki, the captain, and Cole Caufield, right there with him. Incredible line. Brendan Gallagher, Christian Dvorak, heart and soul guys, putting goals in. Montembeault played excellent for the half of the game that he was in. Pulled for undisclosed reasons. Terrifying. Washington pushed back and played as hard as they could. But in the first 2 games, I said Montreal was starting to get quicker. And the longer this series goes, the more it's going to favor the young kids in Montreal. Sometimes these kids don't know they're supposed to lose, and that's a good thing if you're the Habs or the Habs fans. Washington wasn't ready for the energy that was brought to them today, and they were absolutely shellacked. Now, this is a veteran team with a lot of guys that will shake this off and have short memories, but it's going to be tough for Washington. They lost Logan Thompson as well, too. This was the battle of the backups in the end. They lost him because Strome took out his own guy. There are so many great storylines. Why don't we just start breaking it down? And we'll talk about every one of them. Here we go. Dump in. Goalie comes out to play the puck. You guys know I say this. The goalie has to play the puck. There's nothing you can do. And I had a great question on my channel. Why does the goalie have to play the puck? Because he becomes like a 6 player. He can make a quick little breakout pass. And it doesn't matter how far he makes that breakout pass. Could be short, could be long. The puck moves faster than the man. And this gives the team an opportunity to attack on transition. So as that puck goes in, this is why Josh Anderson is such an impact player. Look at him come around at incredible speed and then whack, absolutely on the stick. Is it a slash? Maybe, maybe not. It's irrelevant. It's not called. Turns it over, gets to the front of the net, gets a grade A chance, but Logan Thompson shuts the door. Great penalty killing by Montreal. And to me, that's something you can't teach. Certain players just have a nose for the puck. They have a nose to be a pest, and they know how to forecheck. Josh Anderson's that guy. You could feel it building in the entire first period, in my opinion. You could feel Montreal building and building and building, getting faster and faster and faster. And the first goal of this game is a great demonstration of that. Montreal has a bunch of set plays in the offensive zone that they like to work with here. The first focuses on Lane Hutson, who likes to move pucks down low and then skate down low. He likes to switch. He likes to be active. He likes to be mobile. He likes to jump in as a 4th player. So the first thing he's going to do, he's going to put a shot on net. That shot doesn't work out, but it is Montreal all over the puck. And this was the story of the game for me. It was just forecheck after forecheck after forecheck. And you can see it's just waves of guys. And just getting those tiny little sticks on pucks like you see there causes turnovers. It's a beautiful 2-1-2, causing that puck to be turned over into the middle of the ice. And then the mobility of the Montreal defenseman really gets Washington running around. And this is what you want to do in the offensive zone. Quick little shot on net. It's in the back of the net. Those angle changes are going to be tough on a goalie, but realistically, all of this occurs because of this forecheck, which moves the puck over to here and allows one more forecheck, just enough to get stick on stick to disrupt that puck. And that's what I meant by you can feel it. You can see it with your eye test. You don't have to be a coach to see these types of things. When players are able to get stick on stick and puck on puck, they always just seem to be an inch or two faster than the other team out there on the ice. And that was Montreal today. Here's another great example of it in the neutral zone from captain Nick Suzuki. What a game from him here. This doesn't result in a goal, but it gives you that feeling that you can see just an awesome read because of a fantastic forecheck at the line, and Suzuki is gone with numbers. As he's gone with numbers, he releases an absolutely wicked snapshot. It doesn't go in the back of the net, and it leads to a chance, but that just seemed to be the story of the whole game. On it, forecheck, turn the puck over, great chance. Logan Thompson stands on his head, but eventually the dam breaks. Another great example here, Brendan Gallagher just teeing up, waiting for it. Bang! What a shot. You can see right here, that puck almost trickles in on Logan Thompson. This shot hurt as well, too. You can see him just crumble. I mean, there's obviously guys that shoot harder than Gallagher in the league, but he must have hit him in a soft spot there because, yikes, it looks like he was trying to put it right through him. And it wasn't just 5-on-5, it was the power play. Power play is very special here. Nick Suzuki had a great day, at least in my opinion, in the center circle here. This happens a lot. What you can see are the two sticks tied up here in the middle. And sure, there are lucky bounces in hockey, but it's a quick little tie-up, and you can see that puck loose right here. It's Montreal, though, that wins the battle to it. Look at Slafkovsky. Great little forecheck, and it's that little forecheck that allows Suzuki to pick up the puck. They were just that much faster than they were today. Logan Thompson has no chance on this puck. It's a nasty, nasty backhand to go in. And if you're going to win series like this, you need your best guys playing. Their best line played very, very well. I really love Slafkovsky's game, but I can't undersell how great Nick Suzuki and Cole Caufield were as well. Unfortunately, the one area of the ice I think that Montreal is going to have to work on is the D zone. And Demidov here, he's obviously a hyper-skilled player. He's one of the best young players probably in the league already, but way too early to anoint that. He gets lost in the D zone, and it can take years for a player to truly understand D zone if they ever get there. So as we end up in our D zone, what we see here is he's not sure what he's supposed to do. He looks a little bit confused. What you need to do is have puck support right now. So it isn't his job to move in this direction or in this direction. His job is to actually stay back here, and you want him staying somewhere in this circle area. He doesn't. He decides to pick up a man, and what that does is it leaves Jakob Chychrun open on the other side, and Montreal's now confused because you're supposed to play a box +1. You're supposed to have support. That whole side is wide open. It crosses the railroad. It doesn't give the goalie a chance to set, and Chychrun just steps in with an absolutely massive blast. Now, here's another typical play from Montreal. This is their zone entry. They like to bump it up into this high corner up here, and then from here, they actually end up putting it backwards or over, very similar to the way you would enter a zone on a penalty kill, on a power play, Ryan. And if you haven't checked out our channel sponsor yet, you can see that play right here. They move it up here, and it's called a bump back, the Montreal neutral zone bump back. It's how they push defensemen back, create time and space in the neutral zone, and allow them to enter to get those scoring chances. And if you want to support this channel, you can head to the link below for Hockey Tactics 2025 and read all about your favorite plays from every team in the NHL. So we end up seeing this little bump back, and here it is. That puck moves backwards. That creates a gap right here, and that pushes the Capitals defenders back into the zone to allow zone entry for Montreal, and this will eventually lead to a goal. You get that zone entry because of how far back they're pushed. Now they're on their heels. You're going to walk in, and as you're walking in, it's fine stick on puck here. There's nothing to worry about. It's a little shot that's on the net, but the goal is now going to be generated, and you can't score a goal if you don't get zone entry. It's now going to be generated by that incredible forecheck that Montreal's just been on all night. So you got 5 Capitals in the frame right now. There's no reason Washington shouldn't come out with this puck, but the 2-1-2 that Montreal is going to play right here turns this puck over and gets it into the back of Washington's net. You can see here, they almost look jittery, Washington, like Montreal was on them so fast. Big booming body check by Cole Caufield there. I don't say that tongue in cheek. That was a big hit. He may not have hurt a guy, but he threw life and limb in there to make that play. And when you have your superstars playing that hard, it only spells good things for your team. That forces the turnover here behind the net, and then that forces the cough up. They just panic. They panicked because of that forecheck. There was no reason to panic, but they've done it. The puck is now moved to the half wall. The defenseman has slid down, as they do. I told you this kid loves to slide down. He loves to be mobile. He loves to become a fourth forward, and he's very confident because these are proper set plays. And Cole Caufield, after making such a big hit and such a great forecheck, he is going to be the recipient of good defense, meaning good offense. Puck comes across the crease, it's in the back of the net. And defense happens anytime your team doesn't have the puck. So even though they're in the offensive zone, they create a turnover because Montreal is on defense without a puck. A forecheck is a defensive structure. The fun isn't over in the period, though. You've heard me talk about Tom Wilson being an absolute game changer, and he is. But you've also heard me say on this channel that he's an absolute loose cannon that you can bait into, and when he sees red, you better be careful because he will kill you. Like, there's just no doubt about it. When this guy gets angry, he's the guy that goes, whoops, I didn't mean to punch you so hard that you're dead now. That is Tom Wilson in a nutshell. So he just doesn't have control of his emotions, and Montreal knows this. I'm not sure how they baited him, but they did. I don't know what was said, and I'm not sure, but what I don't see here, and I know he's going after Xhekaj, this has been happening all game, Wilson just inserts himself during this melee of pushing and shoving to Xhekaj, and he's not going to back down. He's a very tough customer himself, and there we go. We start going. We're battling, we're pushing, we're doing all kinds of fun stuff. It's the hug fest. But from that hug fest comes Josh Anderson. Great teammate. Love this. You know what? Screw it, Wilson. I'll grab you. I'll fight you myself too. Linesmen are in the way. Let's throw some punches. The brouhaha actually spills into the bench here. I mean, this is absolutely wild. And they continue to push, punch, and kick. And overall, the real hero of this story is us, the fans, because watching this stuff is absolutely amazing. But the true real hero of this is the linesman. I can't believe they get in there. These are really big men throwing it, and they have equipment. These linesmen, they don't have any equipment. They're there trying to break these guys up. There was a time in the day where linesmen would just let this happen until guys got tired. I don't know when the NHL changed, when these guys started jumping in, but they're like freaking superheroes at this point. I mean, there is a whole generation of hockey fans that think it's these guys' job to jump in and take punches and break them up, even though they're not wearing any gear. And for the most part, sometimes they're smaller than these players. They're also older too, but hey, heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear stripes. As long as they don't have an orange stripe on there, they're never heroes. They're always the villain, regardless of what team you cheer for. Period starts a couple minutes in, and what we end up seeing is Montreal getting in a 1-3-1. I actually think they're starting to look for a change. Like, I think Slafkovsky's looking over here. They're pointing to say somebody's coming off the bench. But realistically, you're in a 1-3-1 right now. The thing is the 1-3-1 isn't that hard to beat anymore. It's something from back in the day, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. It's still around from time to time, but you can beat it with a few plays called the weak side lock. They end up slashing it through the middle, Washington does, and they create a great 2-on-1 here. That 2-on-1 ends up pushing the defenseman back, and from there, you're going to move it over to Ovi in Ovi's spot, and nobody is stopping this. This is why he's the NHL's greatest goal scorer. Absolutely beautiful goal, and they tie it 3-3. And it's at this point, you're starting to wonder if you're a fan. Did that scrum, did that brouhaha, did it get into the head of Montreal? Is the tough stuff now going to break them? And the answer was no, absolutely not. And that's because you got guys like Brendan Gallagher on your team, just heart and soul guys, him and Dvorak. You're going to do what's called a hard rim. It means you fire it around the boards. You got to make sure the goalie isn't able to stop and play it. That's the critical part about the hard rim. It has to be hard enough that the goalie can't come out of his net. People say again, why does the goalie have to come out of his net? Well, if the goalie is able to come out of his net here and stop this puck from rimming around, he's also able to prevent a goal. It's very important to stop these types of plays. But what it initially does is, instead of having to make a cross ice pass, it gets the puck to the other side of the ice, which is exactly what you want to do in the offensive zone. Lengthen and widen, and it allows them to get down low and onto the forecheck. And that forecheck has just worked for them all night. And it's Brendan Gallagher who steps in, shoots it, it goes off the Washington player and through the legs of Logan Thompson. And then finally, with 8 minutes left, it's Slafkovsky. Like I said, he's quietly becoming one of my favorite players in the NHL at this point. I am not a Montreal homer. I just think this guy is really good. There's a puck that's put through the middle. Slafkovsky reads it really, really well, gets himself into absolutely unbelievable position to make a takeaway, and he's gone. He takes all the time and space he can, and as soon as he runs out of gap, he ends up bumping it over to the right-hand side. That creates more time and space, and he drives to the front of the net. You got to keep doing that. Defenseman should have stuck with him and didn't, moved over because he respected the shot. Puck ends up getting through. Slafkovsky puts it in to make it 5-3. The game would end 6-3, Montreal taking this one at home in a huge momentum swing in La Belle province. But there's a bit of a crisis here. Logan Thompson, as Montreal is driving the net, gets ran by Dylan Strome. And take a look at his leg. It toe picks right there and gets stuck. It stays folded. And ouch, that's going to hurt. Here's the point that looks just absolutely awful. He can't put any weight on it. You can see the look on his face here. I don't know if he's going to return for this series. I have no injury updates. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just a guy on YouTube talking about hockey that has a lot of high-level coaching experience. But I do know that when a goalie can't put pressure on one of his legs, it is an absolute nightmare. We also know that when Logan Thompson was hurt at the end of the season, that was the worst time of the season for the Washington Capitals. So not only have the Montreal Canadiens punished them 6-3 at home, yes, the Montreal Canadiens lost their starting goalie, but Montreal is a resilient underdog. Washington has lost one of their superstars, and he is so critical to the success of the Washington Capitals that if he is out for this series or for any extended period of time, this may completely switch the series over to be in favor of Montreal. They're going to have a big game at home and they're going to be fired up. The question is, can the Montreal Canadiens continue to do what they're doing? Martin St. Louis doesn't put a tight chain on his team. You cannot mimic the type of experience you get in the playoffs, and this team doesn't have the playoff experience yet. But what he has done by allowing them to make mistakes in the first two games is get that experience and get it fast. Is it enough? I don't know. Nobody knows. We'll have to see what happens at the end of the series. But it's helping them, and you can see them improving every game, and this was their best game yet. If they continue to build on it, and Game 4 is even better than this game, this series will be tied heading back to Washington. Subscribe, like, stay tuned. We'll catch you in the next one.